All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing another beer from Tröegs Independent Brewing, and they're headquartered in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and this is their Daylight Chaser. So this is a Dark IPA, aka a Black IPA, aka a Cascadian Dark Ale that comes in at 6.3% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is approximately 5 weeks old, but it also has a freshest by date of May 19th of 2026. So according to the brewery, we should be more than good to go as they give this one a 4-month best by date. I like that. Some breweries will go 6, but for a hop forward beer, like 4 is kind of pushing it. So nice to know that Tröegs kind of, gives it 4 months. They want you to drink it relatively fresh. So I'm reviewing this as a shelfie beer for the month of March 2026. And I actually picked this one up in like mid-February because I saw it released and I'm like, all right, I gotta try this one out. It's basically a Black IPA from Tröegs. The last Black IPA reviewed on the channel was Other Half's Doug, and it was a very good beer, but it didn't taste really like a Black IPA, more like an American Porter, American Stout with a little bit of like hop character, but it wasn't a Black IPA. This, I'm hoping it is. So on the back here, they have, they say, use a tumbler. No, I'm using your Mad Elf glass because it's the only Tröegs glass I have. It says color deep mahogany. We'll see momentarily. Hops, Simcoe, Mosaic, and Citra. It's a spring seasonal. The malt is pale wheat, caramel, and black. It says, as we emerge from nature's slumber, a Daylight Chaser is your sign that the equinox is near. This seasonal release starts with a complex toasty malt bill and dusky hue. Simcoe, Mosaic, and Citra hops balanced with radiant notes of blood orange papaya. It's a dark IPA yearning for the warm glow of longer days ahead. So basically, they're saying, hey, spring is almost here. The changing of seasons. Let's get into it. So I'm here for it. I just hope it's tasty. We'll pour from the other side and go from there. So, okay, why is it so aggressively carbonated? Or maybe just because I went crazy to begin with. Yeah, that is a mahogany, like a deep brown. Do something like that. That has a little bit more carbonation than I expected. Well, hello there. So I read the notes because I did see them when I picked it up. I do get blood orange a lot of times from Amarillo. There's Simcoe in here. Mosaic, or it's Citra Mosaic, right? Mosaic Citra. I don't really usually get blood orange out of those. Maybe a little bit from Simcoe, but papaya. Interesting tasting notes. Most Black IPAs from yesteryear would use like Centennial, Chinook, Cascade, and you get like that spicy, earthy, pine resin kind of quality. So this is going to be a little bit different in that aspect. So how does this look? It looks like a dark IPA. So they did say mahogany in the glasses, like mahogany, like a ruby red kind of color. You guys can see, yeah, it definitely is ruby red mahogany for sure. It has about 2 fingers of this soap sudsy looking head, as you guys can see, but it's leaving some nice glass lacing already. But I think as a beer, that looks really nice. Let me pour in some more of it, maybe even perhaps the rest of it. We'll see what we can get in there. Something like that. Because I think it's going to look beautiful in the glass. Maybe use the thumbnail like this. How does that look? Yeah, it looks sensational in the glass. We'll do it from the side just so you don't see. That looks absolutely phenomenal in the glass. It really does. Like, I don't think you can beat the look of that. As far as like a dark IPA goes, sure. Doesn't need to be pitch black. It's a little bit lighter, but it looks really nice in the glass. Anyway, let's get a nose. The hops are here. This is more hop saturated than that other half one. And I don't think I'd ever say that a Tröegs beer in this day and age would be more hop forward than an other half beer, considering what you know about other half. But Tröegs, in their day, Nugget Nectar, and they even have like Perpetual and a whole bunch of other beers. So maybe I should take that back. They said blood orange. Yeah, it has this really nice, sweet, pithy orange in the nose. You could say blood orange, mandarin orange, a little bit of like a ruby, like a candied ruby red grapefruit. I wouldn't say papaya, but I'd say like mango and peach. Maybe even a little bit of red berry. And then underneath that is like a toasty, slightly roasty, kind of like lighter, like chocolate kind of vibe. A little bit of coffee. Touch of caramelized sugar. The hops are dominating. This is what I was hoping out of that other half beer. The hops are the star of the show. And that background malt character is different because it's dark malts. And you're getting a little bit of malt character you would get in like a porter or stout, but it's not as big and boisterous. It smells fruity, has a little bit of like a slight pine kind of quality too. Yeah, this smells fresh. This smells good. This smells tasty. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, now that's a Black IPA. Yeah, that's a Black IPA. I will say, both beers This and that. And I'm only comparing it to that Doug from Other Half. They don't have much in common other than they're both going for a black IPA. But I'm comparing it to that Doug because it's fresh in my memory. I reviewed that one within the past month. And I don't review a lot of black IPAs because you just don't see a lot of packaged black IPAs. The one thing both of these beers are missing, at least from my experience, is that pronounced, like, firm, higher, like moderate to higher side of moderate bitterness. This has a little bit more bitterness than the Other Half beer for sure, but it's still not hitting my palate with the appropriate bitterness for what I remember black IPAs being in their heyday. Body's nice, is like medium, maybe a skosh over medium. It is 6.3%, perfect. The mouthfeel is really delightful. It has an approaching moderate carbonation, so there is good carbonation, spritzy on the palate, dancing on the tongue. But man, the second half of the palate, smooth, somewhat creamy. You could see the glass lacing really helping out with that with each sip. The head is just like, just beautiful. Yeah, so mouthfeel and the body, good. The taste, really nice taste to it. Forefront, a lot of that citrus quality. The blood orange, sure. Mandarin orange, sure. But it's pithy, it's rindy, along with like a little bit of a juiciness and a sweeter quality. Some of that ruby red grapefruit I was talking about, both like the peel, but then also like if you sprinkled it with sugar. It has a good combination of like candied sweeter citrus along with pithy, rindy, bittering citrus. It hits me right tip of tongue. After that, I get hit with more of that malt character. Again, it's like a toasted kind of dark malt. There's a little bit of chocolate. It's more of like a baker's chocolate, like a bittering chocolate, but it's definitely there. There's a little bit of like a light roasted coffee, a little bit, maybe a skosh, a touch, a minute amount of like a caramel, I was going to say a nuttiness, but maybe not. Not really nutty. Maybe a little bit of brown bread as well. But that's the first 2/3, 3/4 of the palate. And on the finish, in the taste, has a little bit of like resinous pine. There's a touch of a dank quality, an earthiness. It has more of the hop qualities. But this finish is mild to moderately bitter, more approaching moderate. But it does have a beautiful dryness. This is firmly dry. It's not bone dry, but it's firmly dry. So the combination of the firmly dry finish, along with a mild to moderate bitterness that's approaching moderate. So you have a good dryness, a pretty solid bitterness. It really does break up the monotony of all that like sweet fruitiness and the sweeter malt at the forefront. It does lean more dry and bitter, like 60-40. Again, the only issue I really have with this one is that I'd like a little bit more bitterness. I think this is a better black IPA than that Doug from Other Half because I actually taste the hops in here. The Simcoe, the Mosaic, and the Citra are here. No red berry in the taste. I was getting in the from the what I think is the Mosaic. It was just in the nose, so 6.3%, no way. No warming in my chest, nothing on palate. This is tasty. This is a good dark IPA, black IPA, Cascadian Dark Ale, whatever you want to call it. It could have been, this is very good, but it could have been into that like excellent / exceptional range. If it had more bitterness, this is probably into like a high 4.25, low 4.5 for me. It's that tasty. I do enjoy it. As is, I'm going to go a little bit lower with the score. Again, the glass lacing. Just got to show you guys again. The glass lacing is superb. So, Daylight Chaser from Tröegs. I'm going to go low 4.25. I'm going to go 4.15. I think this is a very, very good black IPA. The only thing really stopping it from getting a higher rating is that the bitterness isn't right where I want it. And it may be a little bit more... and again, this is just because of the hops they use, so this is more of a personal preference. But I think if I had like that more of that piney, spicy kind of like dankness that I from yesteryear of black IPAs, I think this one would definitely be a high 4.5 until low 4.5, or a high 4.25 and a low 4.5. I think that's where this one would land for me. But the lack of a firm, really gripping bitterness and just old school hops, I still think a 4.15 score is pretty damn good. Price point availability, $12 a six-pack here in the Buffalo, New York area. Might be a little bit more, a little bit less, depending upon where you live. So that's where it is here, about $2 a can. Fine price point for me. And then availability, wherever you see Tröegs, you should see this one. This is their spring seasonal. Check out their beer finder on their website. Pretty sure they got one. But if you get Tröegs stuff pretty frequently, this was their spring seasonal. You should be able to find it. I don't know who out there gets Tröegs outside of probably like, PA, New Jersey, New York, I think Ohio, pretty much like that. Probably down to maybe the Mid-Atlantic, maybe a little bit into the New England region. I don't remember with Tröegs, but they definitely get decent distribution. I just don't know how big it is. This is a bigger regional brewery, but they don't get, pretty much outside of the region. So anyway, if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. This is definitely better than that other half Black IPA. And I will say this, I promise you, I'm going to review more Black IPAs. Whenever I see one packaged, I don't care who it's from, I'm going to pick it up. I was somebody who didn't used to love Black IPAs, much like I didn't used to like old school American IPAs and West Coast IPAs. And now in 2026, my palate in a way different spot than it was, even a couple years ago. So Black IPAs are something I enjoy, but I have not found one recently that just kind of blows me away from the hop character and the bitterness and everything. I want that. I want to taste that old school, like, what's the name of Stone's Sublimely Righteous one? Like that has like a gripping bitterness. I need something like that. That's what I need personally. But anyway, if you've had this one before, comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Does it for another Shelfie beer review. Check back in a couple days for another review of a Shelfie beer. And yeah, until then, I'm going to shut that down and enjoy the rest of this. To the next one. Cheers.